Hello guys, so today I will teach you how to install Ubuntu virtual machines into VirtualBox application. So first things first, this tutorial will require you to have Oracle VM VirtualBox installed onto your computer. So if you do not have that installed onto your computer, please go ahead and do it now. If you do have it installed, I would like you to go to your main web browser. In this case, I will be using Opera, but it does not matter because any web browser will work. So first thing you want to do is go to Ubuntu download. If you want to download an older version of Ubuntu, this I will also help you to download one of those ISO images. So now we have this. Yes. So this tutorial will help you to install Ubuntu desktop. Ubuntu is a Linux operating system and one of the most widely used operating systems and taught in many cybersecurity courses. So if you'd like to install this tutorial will be perfect for you. So this tutorial will use Ubuntu 22.04, which is the latest long-term support release, which is what this is. So we download Ubuntu 20 we download Ubuntu 22.04. This tutorial will be different depending on when you watch this, but the process will be the same depending on your version. For the long-term support releases, you just download the long-term support releases. If you go back and see this is where you install the newer releases. In this case, this is 23.04. So if you want to install that, you just press download 23.04. But I will not be doing that today, so I will wait for this to download. So now our Ubuntu ISO has been downloaded. So now, assuming that you have Oracle VM VirtualBox installed, now it is time to create your virtual machine. So first we press new, this little gear icon over here, right next to export, but right to the left of add, right here. So now we press that and we type Ubuntu VM. So as you see here, this will automatically fill out the required forms, and now we need to adjust the memory. Since this is now a 64-bit operating system, we will now run with the bare minimum we need, as this does not need too many too much RAM. 2048. So now we have to create the virtual hard disk. So now we go here and we have to change this to something that is decently sized. I will be doing 64 GB. Now over here, this is where you will change your location, which is very important. So change your location now. In this case, this is C users, my name, and documents, virtual VirtualBox virtual machines, Ubuntu VMs, and Ubuntu VM.vdi. You do not need to change any of this unless you really want to. And I highly recommend dynamically allocated, as this will not only preserve your hard disk, but this will also keep your hard disk safe from running out of storage really quickly, because 64 gigabyte storage on some computers is a lot. So now we create this virtual machine. Now we have to load the ISO into the virtual machine. So we press settings, storage, this icon of a CD-ROM, which is right here under controller IDE. We press this icon, which is where you will choose your ISO, and you choose a disk file. So here I find my ISO, which is where you need to know where you put your ISO. If you do not know where you put it, you please go to your downloads icon and press the folder icon, or locate your ISO via the methods included in your browser. So now I will press open, which will load the CD-ROM image into the VirtualBox. Now we press OK and launch the VM. From there, the process is a little bit simpler, but still definitely something to be very careful on. as there are many options that you will not find when you're installing a traditional Windows 10 or a Windows 98 operating system. So now we will select try or install Ubuntu, as but this time we will install Ubuntu, as this is what we are going to do today. If you are going to try Ubuntu, then install it. No need to worry, as the installer will be linked to your desktop. So I'll give it a second for Ubuntu to boot up into the installer. If it's taking a while for you, this is either a problem for your hard disk or because of the image size. For me, the image is a little bit larger than normal, and I have other things running in the background. So do not worry. This is normal because this Ubuntu has gotten a little bit bigger over the years. We're almost at the graphical interface. One thing I highly recommend is move your mouse to inside the virtual machine. If you see a cursor pop up and then disappear, and then turn into a busy icon, then that's how you know that your virtual machine's graphical interface is on its way to become and present itself to you. Alright, so this is our Ubuntu installer, and here you have two options: try Ubuntu and install Ubuntu. So just for the simplicity of this tutorial, I will show you the try Ubuntu method. But this is just the same as going to install Ubuntu and then continuing from there. Don't worry, just give it a second. Ubuntu has to load up its desktop and its other user interface. So this will be a normal process, even if you have a faster hard disk drive or a slower hard disk drive, or if you have a solid state. Do not worry, this is entirely normal, as it is just switching from its installing UI to its main UI, where everything and all the interface options that you will see in a normal Ubuntu installation is present, minus the installer. Alright, sorry for the delay, but this is your regular Ubuntu UI without the install Ubuntu icons. The install Ubuntu is just for the ISO of the Ubuntu installation and is not going to be included with the actual installation that you will be using for either your day-to-day uses or your virtual machine uses, depending on what you will do with your virtual machine. If you do not wish to install it, then this is where you will stop right here. But since I am teaching how to install it, I will launch the Ubuntu UI, the Ubuntu UI for installing Ubuntu. All of this is where you will normally see your icons. This is your web browser, mail, file explorer, your music, your office, software, help, your trash can, and even more applications in here. So this is where you will access your applications, and this is your information. This is where you will find your main settings, and you can access more system settings, your Ethernet, your performance, your sound. This is your language settings. This is your date and time, which will show you the notifications, your calendar, and in here you will see the time. This is your activities, which will show you the current window, and it can also switch to this, letting you choose to different virtual desktops inside the operating system, just as Windows does. So now the installer has booted. So let's go. Right here, I highly recommend, if your language isn't already selected, click your language. In this case, I will be using English. Now we will continue. Now this is your keyboard layout. I highly recommend you test your keyboard layout to make sure that it is all working and nothing is broken. If something is wrong, then this is where you will change it to your keyboard settings, Dvorak, your Dvorak, Colmac. In this case, we are using regular QWERTY keyboard setting. Next, we press the continue button. This is where you will change what type of installation you want. A normal installation will give you everything from web browser, utilities, to media players and games, and even office software. Since you can install all of this from the command line, which I will also create future tutorials for in future videos, I will do a minimal installation because you do not need that much, and it will only include web browser and basic utilities. So we will not have your office software, your games, nor your media player. You will only have some of your utilities and your web browser. This option is something I highly recommend, as it will install your update while you are doing the Ubuntu installation, and this will depend on what type of hardware you have. In this case, since I am doing a virtual machine, I do not need to select anything, as third-party software is not recommended, especially when you are handling your own, when you have proprietary systems and you do not know if there are stable third-party software and drivers for your software or your hardware. Now we press continue. Do not worry. Sometimes it will hang here as it has to load some other stuff and get everything ready to install and everything ready. There will be one more to two more steps depending on if you have other options to select. But since this is a basic installation of 22.04, this should not have any other settings. Alright, so now this is where you have to be really careful. If you choose this means that you will have to create everything yourself. But this option, Ubuntu will do everything for you. If you have another operating system installed, then it will show you another option allowing you to install this alongside that operating system. It is not erasing anything and not erasing your previous programs and your previous operating system. So this is what I will do, as I will not do this, as this option Ubuntu will do everything for me and you will have a lot of free time. If you see this, just press continue. Ubuntu will select the partitions necessary for it to function. Now, after all those, if you have any other pop-ups, please read it and a help, send me a question in the comment section trying to describe as clearly as possible what problem you're facing. If you have any questions, please please say it in the comment section. So now really quickly, we will have to select our location. So I will do the coastal time for the sake of this tutorial. Now I press continue. After after all the steps are after everything is done, like your username, your computer name, this your name, your computer name, your username, and your password, you will be able to leave your computer alone, and you will be presented after installation with the user interface that looks very similar to this. So I will put the channel name for the sake of this tutorial, and a password. And a password that is similar to this. That includes letters, at least one special character, and a set of numbers. It can be anything random to like 1993, 1991, or any set of numbers. Uh, Alright, so now your passwords match. Now you can press continue. So as I was saying previously before selecting location, after you press install now, these are the only two things that you would need to select. These are the only two that you should need to select. After that, you should be presented directly with an installing, which means that your Ubuntu is being installed to your main hard disk that you select, that you either have selected or already partitioned and set up for installation. By selected, I mean that if you have a dual booting and you select that option, you select the right hard disk that you want, depending on what it presents you. There should be no more steps after this, as this is all you need to set up. Alright, so now we are presented with this screen. If I've made any problems, please contact me in the comment section, as I am always looking to improve upon my skills. Thank you for watching, and I really hope this tutorial does help you out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, now I have to review my cringy voice.